Hello, this is Narain 3-phase water level controller model WLC20 with cyclic timer. So this is the water level controller with a new feature called a cyclic timer, which is built inside a single unit. So this, as the name mentions, this has this dual functionality. It indicates the water levels. It will turn on the motor when the tank level gets low. Okay, and similarly at the same time, once the motor turns on, the cyclic timer will get activated and it will operate based on the set timings. So let me give you an example of the advantage of this particular model. So in traditional water level controllers, this is how the usual water level controllers work. So it will just sense the tank levels whenever the tank level gets low. So when the water in the tank comes below the low level mark, that is when the motor turns on. So motor turns on and we'll wait for the tank to fill up. When the tank fills up, then the motor turns off. This is a very simple concept. That's how the traditional water level controllers work. But of late, there has been a new problem which is occurring, which is most common everywhere. The problem is that the motor tends to run dry as soon as in a small time, like before it fills up the tank, the motor starts to run dry. So the situation inside the cities are such that in some cases the motor can pump water for only 5 or 10 minutes, so which is not suitable to fill up the tank. So instead, what people do is they opt for the solution called a cyclic timer. So this product will work this way. So whenever the water level in the tank comes below the low level mark, our timer gets activated. So timer, as in, it's called a cyclic timer. You can set the on time and off time. So on time is the running time. Okay, once the motor starts, how long do you want the motor to run? That is the on time. And off time is the waiting time. So once the motor switches off, how long do you want the motor to wait? So for example, if I set the on time to be 5 minutes and off time to be 1 hour, okay, so what it does is the motor turns on whenever the tank water level comes low. Okay, the motor turns on and it will run for the first on cycle, that is for 5 minutes. Okay, the motor runs for 5 minutes and switches off. So once the motor switches off, it will wait for the set off time. So the off time is 1 hour in this case. So after 5 minutes, the motor will turn off and it will wait for 1 hour's time. So after an hour's time, that is after the off time has passed, the motor will again switch on for the next 5 minutes. Okay, so this cycle will keep on repeating till the tank fills up. So once the tank fills up, then the timer will again enter the sleep mode. So meaning you will just get the water level indication. So again the timer will get activated only when the water level dips. So the advantage of having this model is such that, so it will allow the motor to have enough rest. So between it will get the motor enough recharge time. So at the same time, the motor will not run dry. So only thing you will have to observe is the amount of time the motor can pump water sufficiently. If you can just make a note of those timings, so you're good. So the motor will cyclically on and off according to the set timings, and once the tank fills up, the timer is no longer necessary, so it will automatically switch off the timer. So, and suppose, let us assume when the motor is running, so inside the set off time, if the dry run occurs for some reason, okay, so even then we have a dry run protection in the form of sensor which is placed on top. So you can also set the dry run tripping time. Once the motor switches on and once the water doesn't flow on the dry run sensor even after the set time, so that is when the motor immediately switches off and indicating the reason as dry run. So all those features are covered. So this again is a comprehensive unit which has everything built in. It has a water level functionality along with the timer functionality. As you can see, it also indicates the levels, 4 levels of tank indication. And borewell, of course, if it is a borewell, you don't need this indication. But if it is an open well submersible or a well, you will definitely need this indication as well. So that provision is also there. Then you will get the time frame, so which cycle the current timer is in. Is it in the on cycle or off cycle? Even that is indicated. And inside that cycle, what is the time remaining? So that is displayed on these LED displays. Then you have 3 push buttons to make the settings. You will have this motor on and dry run indication. It will also has this flow indicators, which is indicating the motor is running. So along with this, it also offers the power on delay features. That is, whenever the power gets in, you can set the time. So the water level controller will wait for that time before turning on, meaning it will allow the voltage to stabilize before actually switching on the motor. So it also has the dry run trip time setability, which will be showing in this video again. Okay, this is pretty much everything with respect to this water level controller, which is suitable for 3-phase submersible and 3-phase monoblock pumps. So we will quickly go ahead and have a look at the connections. So for connection purpose, we've made use of Narain analog control starter model TOL-RG. So this is a basic starter which we are demonstrating the connections to, and the connections for all the other starters would be on the same lines as well. Okay, so yeah, the connectors are placed on the bottom, as you can see here. So these are the power connectors and these are the sensor points. Okay, so initially to start with, we have the 440 volts AC to be given into connectors 1 and 2. So connectors 1, among the 3 lines R, Y and B, you can choose any 2 of the lines and feed it as an input to these 2 points, the first and 2 connectors. So the important thing to be noted here is that these are the control wiring, so these won't carry any load. This is used as an auxiliary input to our controller. So the input to the starter should be there as it is, so this will be an additional connection from that. Okay, this will be connectors 1 and 2, 440 volts AC taken from any of the 2 incoming lines. Okay, connectors 3 and 4 should be connected across on or start push button. Okay, so this is how the start push button looks, the starter. So we will have to connect 3 and 4 across the start push button. So we have taken wires gray, so gray and green here. Okay, so the start push button looks something like that, something like this, the green color button. So once you have a look behind the start push button, you will see these connectors. You will see the wires which are already gone there. So what you need to do is you'll have to take additional 2 wires and connect it on top of the existing wires. So this is called as parallel connection. So we've taken one gray wire and one green wire from our controller, and we are connecting that on top of the existing wiring. Okay, gray is connected to this end and green is connected to the other end. It doesn't matter even if these wires interchange, they are still the same point. So you can connect it either ways, but they'll have to sit on the existing wiring. Okay, then we are left with connectors 5 and 6. Connectors 5 and 6 should be connected in series with the stop or off push button. Okay, let us quickly have a look at the stop push button and understand what exactly the series connection is. Series connection, so this is the red or stop push button. So once you have a look behind it, so this is how the stop push button looks. There will be a wire going here and a wire coming out. So what you need to do is you'll have to take out the wire which has gone to one of the connectors, a single wire. So you'll have to take out this wire. So you will have, since the wire, we took out the wire here, so this was the blue color wire was the one which was going here. We have taken out the wire and connected it to a wire coming from connector number 5. So we have taken the red color wire coming from connector number 5. So wire coming out from connector number 5 is connected to the wire which is taken out from this point. Okay, and then we have taken a new wire from connector number 6, which is black in color, and connecting it back to the same point. Okay, I'll repeat again. The wire which is coming to the first connector should be taken out, and the wire which is taken out should be connected to connector number 5, and we'll have to take a new wire from connector number 6 and connect it back to the same point where you had removed the first wire. Okay, this is what we call a series connection. Once these connections are done, the on button connection is to switch on the motor and off button connection is to switch off the motor. So once those 2 wiring are done, we are left with only the sensor wiring. Okay, so the package includes 8 bullet sensors which look like this. This is called the bullet sensor, and 1 dry run sensor which looks like this. Yeah. Okay, so first we will go ahead and have a look at placement of sensors in the overhead tank. So for that you will have to make use of these connectors. The first connector is called as common. Okay, the common the wire should be there. The first sensor is a common sensor which has to be placed on the bottommost point of the tank, and on the tank. So this sensor will just sit on the floor of the tank like this. Okay, this is the first sensor which is called as the common one. The common sensor, the wire coming out of the common sensor should be connected to common point. Okay, this one. Then you have a low level, tank low. So tank low is on the right hand side. So after the sump connection you have this tank low. So wire from tank low should be connected to the next sensor which is placed at around 50% of the tank. Then it will be the next sensor which is tank medium. Okay, tank medium should be placed at around 75% mark, and tank high is the last sensor. Okay, you'll have to take the last sensor at tank high. So tank high should be placed at the full point. So that is where the motor switches off. Whenever the water touches the tank high sensor, the motor turns off. So that is the tank high point. And the dry run sensor should be placed on the inlet of the tank. So let us assume my finger is the inlet. So this dry run sensor will sit on the inlet like this. So once it sits on the inlet like this, you will have to tightly tag along this on top of the inlet, such that the water coming out of the inlet should fall on these two screws. Okay, this can be bent, the screws can be bent, it can be adjusted to your inlet pipe. Okay, once this is done, the water coming out of this should fall on these two screws and then enter the tank. So there are two wires attached to the dry run sensor. So one should be connected to common again, and the other wire should be connected to dry run. So dry run point is mentioned here. Okay, so yeah, this is about the sensor connections. I repeat, common will sit at the floor, then we have tank low, tank medium, tank high, then dry run. Okay, so once the tank connections are made, if you are using the submersible motor, then you won't need these connections to be done. So what you can do is you can take a wire and you can connect common to sump low, sump medium, and sump high. You are just interconnecting all of these, such that you are just indicating the water level controller that the water is always present. Okay, but if you are using an open well submersible, or if you are pumping the water from an open well, so that is when you will be needing these sensors as well. That is, whenever the tank gets empty, you will have to check if the water is present in the open well, and only if the water is present you will have to start the motor. So that is when you will have to connect these sensors as well. Suppose you are using these sensors also, so what you can do is you will have to take a wire from common and connect it to the bottommost point of the open well. Then again it will be sump low, sump medium, and sump high. So the water should be at least sump medium level in order to switch on the motor. So this is pretty much about the sensor connections. So once these connections are ready, then we will quickly have a look at the working. So I'll be powering on the device. You can make use of this button in order to start the motor, or in order to power up the water level controller. So I'm switching this on. So the moment you power up the system, it will wait for the set on delay time, which is called as power on delay. We have set it to be 10 seconds right now. It will just down count for 10 seconds and then resume its operation. Okay, so as you can see, these are the level indications on the overhead tank. These are the level indications in the borewell or the underground sump. Then you have this flow indicators, which we'll be demonstrating now. So as I mentioned, this has a cyclic timer. You can always check at which timing the timer currently is in. Okay, these LEDs indicate the current timing. So if it is in the off cycle, off LED will be glowing, and if it is in the on cycle, on LED will be glowing. So right now the off LED is glowing, meaning the timer currently is in the off cycle. So the numbers indicate the time left before the timer switches on to the next cycle. So this 9 indicates like the controller has to still wait for 9 minutes before switching on to the on cycle. So similarly, when the LED is glowing here, so right now it became 8, meaning 8 minutes is still left in order to switch on. So then if the LED is glowing here, that means the cycle now is in the on cycle, and during on cycle, whenever the our tank gets empty, the motor immediately switches on. Okay, so we will quickly have a look at the settings. So in order to set the on time and off time, all these numbers will be in minutes. So it will be 1 minute to 999 minutes maximum, which can be set. So in order to set the on time, you'll have to press the set button once. So pressing this will enter the setting mode. You saw ONT. Okay, ONT is the on time setting. So you can increase by pressing the right side button, or decrease the numbers pressing the left side button. Suppose if you want the on time to be 5 minutes, let us say, you will have to leave it to 5005. Once the on time is set, you will have to press the set button. It says OFT. OFT meaning it is asking for the off time. So if you want the motor to turn on if you want the off time to be 20 minutes, let us say, you can just increase the time. Okay, so decreasing or increasing, you will have to arrive at the desired number and just press the set button. I repeat again, pressing the center button will enter the setting. On time is set to 5 minutes. After on time is set, again you are pressing the set button. It says OFT. So you're setting the off time, so 20 minutes of off time is set, and once this is done you'll have to press the button again. So right now off time of 20 minutes is set and on time of 5 minutes is set. That means the motor will run for 5 minutes and it will wait for 20 minutes, and after that again it will run for 5 minutes, and this cycle will repeat one after the other. Okay. So right now the motor is in off cycle. So whenever you want the motor to switch from off to on, you can always press this need button. So I'll be pressing this need button. You can have a look at these LEDs and these time intervals changing. So I'm just pressing the button. So the motor immediately switched on because the water is not there. The LED changed to on, and you can see the numbers. The on time was set for 5 minutes, so it started down counting from 5. So it's now 4. So whenever it comes to 1, the motor switches off and it will enter the off time. Off time is set for 20 minutes. Again it will wait for the next 20 minutes. Right now let's see the water pumping. You can see these flow LEDs indicating. So once the tank begins to fill, you can see these LEDs glowing. So once the tank gets full in the on cycle, that is when the motor switches off and the timer will enter the off cycle. So whenever the tank fills up in the on cycle, immediately the motor switches off and it will enter the desired off cycle. And in the off cycle it will wait for whatever time you had set. This was set to 20 minutes and it is waiting for the 20 minutes time. So you can set this time to anywhere between 1 to 999 based on your application. So this is pretty much everything about the operation. So whenever it comes to the on cycle, if the water level is below the 75% mark, that is when the motor switches on. It will enter the cyclic timer mode. It will run for the set on time, off time, on time, off time till the tank fills up. Whenever the tank fills up, it will just enter the off cycle and it will wait for the next on cycle for the water level to come down. So this is the combination of water level and the cyclic timer. So quickly having a look at the settings now. I had mentioned that this offers dry run trip time adjustment and also the power on delay adjustment. If you want to make those adjustments, you will have to press the first one and last button together. Pressing them together will it said DRY, meaning this is the dry run trip time. So this is whenever the motor switches on and if the water doesn't fall on the sensor. So how long do you want the motor to wait before turning off? So this will be in seconds. So if you want it to wait for 30 seconds, you can just set the time and press the center button. It will then ask for POD meaning the power on delay. So whenever the power comes in, you can set the desired time in seconds. It will wait for so many seconds before actually turning on the operation. Okay, I'll press the set button again. It will say end. So dry run tripping time was set to 20 seconds, right? So okay, I'm sorry. Okay, in order to set the settings, we'll have to press first and last button together. It will ask for dry. Dry is the dry run trip time, which was set to 30 seconds. And then set button will again ask you for the power on delay, which was set to 15 seconds. Then again set button will end. So dry run trip time was set to 30 seconds, meaning whenever the motor switches on, the controller will wait for 30 seconds for the water to hit the dry run sensor. If the water doesn't hit the dry run sensor even after 30 seconds, that is when the motor switches off and it will indicate the reason as dry run. Whenever the motor switches off due to dry run, you will have to manually reset the water level controller before again letting it to turn on. Then the power on delay is whenever the power goes and comes back. Whenever the power resumes, the controller will wait for the set time before actually turning on the device. It was set to 15 seconds, so it will wait for the 15 seconds time. So I hope everything was clear. So another important point to be noted is whenever there is power cut in between. So whenever the power cut happens, on the resumption, it will start from the set POD, and after that the timer will continue from wherever it had left previously. Suppose if it had stopped at 5th minute, it will again resume from the same point when the power resumes. So likewise, you're not losing on the you're not allowing the motor to overrun again. So it is strictly operational based on the times you set, and the operation will be going on only when there is power supply. I hope everything was clear. If you have any queries regarding this product, you can reach us on our 9972243774. I repeat, it's 9972243774. You can also browse our website for more information about our other products. Our website address is www.narayanelectrics.in. Thanks for watching this video.